everyone. So welcome to December. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm live. You can hear me, you can see me. I have just set up this office, and when I say just set up, it's like temporarily set up. This is like, I ordered some wood panels. We'll talk about that in a minute, but huge regret. And they're just not up yet. And I have some decorations. Those are not up yet either. This is just like a shelf that I found around and just put all of Lucky's kitty food inside there and some random bits and ends that I probably should really go through. But it's December, it's the 1st, and I'm super excited to be here. It's been so long since I've gone live, since I've made a video, since I've really done anything but focus on moving. So hopefully you can hear me. If you're here, just say hello. Oh, hey, Shelly, you can hear me. Thank you. All right. So let's just get into December. So I really like December. It's really weird because it's so hot here. So it's not like a normal December. It's just a hot and humid kind of December. I do miss cold weather. Possibly not enough. I don't know. I saw the news this morning and I saw that there was like snow up in the upper part of the country. And if you're somewhere where there's snow, you should let me know if you're having fun, if you're making snow angels. I know these are like dreams that I have when I'm in Florida, but like if I was in winter every day, I don't know. Would I really go outside and just make snow angels and snowmen and snow fights? I don't know. But because I'm not, I think like all these magical things, like I'm going to just have some hot cocoa and do all of this stuff with snow. Anyways, Hallmark Channel has in fact, I feel like they started in October, like before I even moved. It was just only Christmas movies on the regular channel and on the mystery channel. So that was like a thing. Who else is here? Oh, hey, Tasha. All right. So, Pinkmas. So I made all these colors pink. I think Pinkmas was supposed to do something with breast cancer. I just haven't, I'm not cool or hip enough to keep up with all of the trends. But I just thought it looked really pretty to have something other than red to go with for Christmas. All right. Tuesday is National Lisa Day. I know it's not in any calendars. I put it up there on my calendar, and I don't even know how this one name got its own holiday. Probably every name has a holiday if you look it up. But I think maybe because it was really popular in the 60s and 70s. Anyways, there are so many different things that have happened, like a million different, like every time I do the slides for AI, I'm like, oh, wait, that's outdated. Something new came up. I'm not even going to be able to tell anyone about that because it doesn't exist anymore. So I'm going to do a AI selfies kind of 101 quick recap on what's going on with AI just in general, like things that I pay attention to, which are image generators and do I use it for anything else? For writing, for like helping to do ideation. I don't know why. I don't like that word ideation. It just sounds like fancy, snobby corporate speak. So ideation, AI is actually really good. There is no writer I know of who has not asked somebody else, like, hey, what do you think about this? Or does this sound like a good idea? Or does this sound too stupid? Right. And so now, because of AI, you can ask AI that. And whether or not the opinion is right or wrong, it really doesn't matter, because if you think about it, if you ask any of your friends, depending on who they are or what they think or if they like you or not even, they may say that that's a great idea or give good advice or give bad advice. Nobody really knows. So anyways, this is just an AI photo of, I guess, what I would look like if I had a twin or triplets or anything else. I'm an only child, so I have no idea if anybody out there in the world even looks like me. I did that DNA. I think I was talking about this before. I did the DNA test. There is nobody that was a match. Everybody else who's adopted was like, surely you have a match. I'm like, no, I really don't. So who knows? Okay, your workbook, of course, I I had 2 months, but somehow the workbook is not done. Like, it was a surprise to me again that today was December 1st. The cover and the back are done, but I need to just update the rest of them all. Plus, I wanted to put some stuff in there because we're going to talk about the Six Sigma process, and I wanted to put that into the December workbook. And there were other things, even on today's slides, I didn't get everything that I wanted. Like, I feel like there's so many things I want to tell you. Anyways, we're going to do the same format that we always do. A plan with me, recap December. We're actually going to recap October and November, and then talk a little bit about what's going to happen in December and all of the December ones, just so you can be single razor focused on one thing only. So, a tracker for the win. This is, I think we're going on 3 years now that I have been using this, in love with it. It has increased my productivity like exponentially, because mostly you just sit around and I'm always like, oh, I worked really hard today. I like did so much. But then if I look at a tracker, maybe I only did like 3 hours of work, but maybe because I did it in a clump or because I'm just wimpy, it just felt like a really long time, but it actually was not. It wasn't even an 8-hour workday. So here's what I did while I was away in October. So pretty much moving took up the whole month, and mostly just like decisions about, like, my biggest regret. I have a lot of regrets, but one big regret is now that I'm at this desk, it is like killing my back. So I found a new desk. It took me like weeks of searching for a good desk, and I didn't like this other desk. Then I returned that desk, and then I got another desk. Anyways, I had 2 constraints. One, this desk had to be like edgeless. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Like, most of the desks that you order that aren't stand-up desks have the frame right up to the edge. And I have so many clamps on this desk for the camera that I'm looking at, for this mic, for a kitty bed I just ordered, for the lights. So anyways, you need to have like an edge to the desk so you can clamp stuff on. And I couldn't, like, there just wasn't enough of an edge. So I ended up getting a stand-up desk. It wasn't too bad. I think it was like $180 or something. Anyways, I do not like it only because I'm short. So if you're tall, I don't think this is a big deal, but I'm like 5'3" and 3/4. So I'm not even 5'4". And because of that, when I am sitting at this desk, my feet do not reach the floor. Like, they barely do. Like, my tiptoes do. And so I bought one of those like foot things to help with my back. But honestly, because of the way the wheels on the chair are, you can't really put it in the right position. I way underestimated how much I would miss a desk that was custom made for the floor. And when I say custom made, so that other desk that I had by, what was that really expensive? I did a video on it. It was a really expensive stand-up desk. And the nice part about it wasn't even that it stood up. I mean, I think I stand up at my desk maybe, I don't know, 4 hours per year. That's it. I really think standing at your desk is highly overrated. Anyways, so because of that, that desk went really low. It went like to 23 inches or something, which is, I think the standard for most desks is like 26 inches. And so it was like magical. And then the other desk that I had, the legs, I actually had them cut off. So those were also 23 inches. And that's because it was an L desk, so that they were like even across right and left. So now that I have a standard desk that is like back at the 26 inch, it is like killing my back. I didn't think it was a big deal, but now that it's been like a couple weeks, like, it's like an issue. So, and I knew, like, when I was packing up, I was like, oh, I wonder if I should just keep these legs because I might want to use them for later. They're custom made to be short. And then I was like, oh, I'm being silly. You know how I am. I just threw it away. I was like, I'm just going to toss it. But now that I'm here, I regret it, which really happens pretty much anybody who is a chronic declutter, like throw stuff away person. Probably, I always say this ends up happening. There's like 1 or 2 things where you're like, oh, I really wish I would have kept that. So that happened. And what else? Oh, I finished the AI course last month. So that's really basically what took up a lot of time. And some of the moving, it's mostly just physical labor and then also just resting. So that one day I like went up and down the stairs, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm tired. I'm just like laying there for 20 minutes. I guess I counted that as moving too. So for November, there was like, it went from 135 to 70. So it like almost cut in half. And I did spend a lot of time writing. I finished my book. I'm very excited about that. But that's pretty much it, like getting settled. And I'm still kind of getting settled. I feel like 2025 is going to be like, I shouldn't say the perfect year, but it's going to be a much smoother year. I'll be back on track. I won't be behind. I'll have everything set up. And hopefully, this month I will figure out the desk situation. And yes, I've been wasting the whole weekend like looking at desks that are, because it's Black Friday, to see if there's anything. I haven't found anything. I really only made 2 videos, and I only made them because I was contracted to make them. So that's pretty much it. Those are both available right now if you watch the Heart Clan. In fact, there's a 3rd video that just came out today. It's the December new releases. Book 4 is finally done. So this like took me forever. So I started this book. I was like, is this right? Because I started it in 2021, and only because it was due today did I finish it. And so I'm so glad I signed up for a contract. I had a friend who was like, don't do it. And I was like, I really need to do it. So I think it's really important too, like no matter how well intentioned the advice is from somebody else, even if they're super successful. So like my friend is super successful. She has like tons of books and published books, and she has like a TV show being made out of her book, like all these things. But she is not me. And she just doesn't know what motivates me versus what motivates her, right? And so clearly she's way better at like just getting stuff done. I need that hard deadline to like help propel me to like finish writing. So I am super glad I just listened to like what I needed, signed that contract. Very excited to be with Tool Publishing. I think it's going to be really good. And anyways, so this is done. The book won't be released. They're doing, and again, I am not a marketing guru person at all, but they're doing something where they are going to rapid release all of them, I believe, next year. No idea what the schedule is or what's going on, but that is the plan. And what else is going on? Oh, I got my first indoor plant. So I've been so afraid to get plants, right? Because I'm so afraid that Lucky's going to die. And he did, like the first thing he did when this plant got here was he started eating it right away. But I checked every single plant that was there. I made sure like to look it up and make sure it was not poisonous to cats, because I knew, and even like, and it's only been like a day since I've had this plant, but he's so fascinated by it. He likes just putting it in his mouth. He's not eating it. Like, you know how dogs like eat everything. He just likes crunching on it for some reason. But this is totally non-toxic. The only thing that would happen is if he actually ingested them, maybe it would cause his stomach to be a little bit upset. And I knew too, because I'm not worried that he'll ingest anything, but he likes just putting things in his mouth, because you know how you can get those grass plants for cats? I've gotten like 2 or 3 different plants for him. He never eats it. They say they're supposed to be good for their like digestive system, but he like looks at them, he'll like crunch them a little in his mouth, and then he's like, thanks for buying me the plant, but I don't want it. So I don't know where this is going to go or where it's going to be situated. But hopefully by the time we meet again mid-month, it will be like prettier behind me. But right now, this is all we got. It's like a closet. All right. I know that I say this every year, but I can't believe we're already at December. It is like the year went by. I'm glad it went by. It's like another one of those years. I don't know. I've had a lot of these years lately where I'm just like, I'm so glad that year is over. Like I haven't had a lot of good years where I'm like, wow, that was the best year ever. It was so magical. I wish I could repeat it again. So maybe I am doing something wrong at life. I'm not really sure. But either way, we are at the end. So whatever feelings you have about this last year, if you're like me, it'll be nice to like swipe and move to the next page. I remember Laura Casey, back when she owned Cultivate What Matters, always says, January 1st is just another day. And that's so true, but it symbolically just through life kind of means something. And I'm excited that it is going to be a new month. Oh, Tasha, thanks, Lisa, and your finishing with. Yeah, thank you. All right, let's see. What else is going? Okay, so we're going to choose one board. So if you remember, was it last month? It was October. No, we didn't hang out October. For September, we had that vision board that you could create, just of you doing stuff to like get you to where you want to be, versus the, those vision boards that I don't believe in, where you have like a mansion and a yacht and just, I don't know, those feel very masculine. And your doable doesn't. So you kind of have, like, it's very deceptive, right? You have 31 days in December, but you don't have 31 days in December because you have Christmas and you have New Year's Eve and you have people visiting, and you're probably visiting other people or traveling, or there's a bunch of Hallmark movies you want to watch and you're not going to be able to watch them later, or you could because you could DVR them. But it just won't feel the same as watching them during the month of December, right? So it's just a little more magical. Let's see, Karen. Oh, congrats on signing. Thanks. All right, so let's go over here. Okay, so did I have any goals? Okay, October goal is almost done. I said I would like finish it mid-November. I totally missed that deadline. I am going to finish up that course this week, now that I'm done with that book. And I made it free. So if you're a lifetime member, I don't think everybody even signed up, but if you're a lifetime member, you have access to this course for free. And I was going to make it a membership, right? Because I feel like AI is changing all the time. But being realistic, I was like, you know what? Who am I kidding? I can't even and yes, November was the first plan with me I've ever missed, but I can't even keep up with one membership. What makes me think I can keep up with 2 memberships? So I was like, forget it. If I have updates, I will just give the updates. And if without a membership, plus I feel like just me in general, I don't know, other people are getting like membership fatigue. So I did buy 2 things for Black Friday, and I'll share that with you in a minute. But they were lifetime things because I just don't want to have a monthly payment, right? And it's the same reason like I bought my car all in cash, and I used to try to pay for rent the whole year up front. I just don't like that monthly obligation. It's just like, it feels like a lot of pressure to like, or just makes you feel sad to like get rid of money every month. So this was like the best deal ever. It was so cheap. And then whatever updates are going to happen, I will just make sure I do regular updates. November goal, done. I moved. I honestly, I remember sitting like in San Diego thinking this will never get done. There's so much work to do. But I am very happy to be back in East Coast time, which I think I said this on the Sunday newsletters, which sounds so silly. Like, who gets excited about a time zone? I am excited about time zones. And I think it's mostly because Pacific time zone just felt so unnatural to me. We never visited the West Coast. We lived in Seattle. So my dad got a job for Boeing, when I was 3 or 4. I barely remember it. And we lived there for just a few months, and my mom didn't like it. I don't know why she didn't like it. I don't think she even remembers. It's been so long. But we left. And so that was the one and only time that I've ever lived in Pacific Standard Time. And then the rest of my life, we just grew up in Illinois. I went to college in Indiana, and then I worked in Cincinnati and New York. So it's always been East Coast. And yeah, there's nothing a big deal. I don't know why. I can't explain it still to this day, but I just feel better about being on the East Coast and in that time zone. I just feel like I'm ahead for some reason. Anyways, so my stretch goal for December is to finish book 5. I honestly don't even know. I think it's not due to the publisher until February, but I don't want to have another situation like this month where literally I was writing until 7:30 last night to finish that book. So is it the best book ever? Probably not. And it needs more edits. So this will be my stretch goal to rapid write, or whatever they call it, fast draft this for December. So I'm going to give myself half of the month to plot it, because I am not a pantser, and I did plot out the whole book back in 2021, but I changed so many things as I write. So I'm going to loosely plot this time and then try to write it then in 15 days at 3,000 words per day. So I feel like this was a good practice to get warmed up with writing. I'm getting a little bit more efficient. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see. I will report back and let you know how it went. Did anyone finish? I think, Karen, you were going to do NaNoWriMo, right? Did anyone do NaNoWriMo and like, did you like it? How did it go? I clearly wrote something, but I had part of it already written. So I did not write all 52,000 words in 1 month at all. So word count tracker and Google Sheets for the win. So I have so many different word count trackers. So I'm going to go over them with you. So this is basically my word count, and you'll see some days it was negative because I deleted things that I had from the day before. And so some days were better or worse than others. And I don't know if it had anything, I really should have made notes. I don't know if it had anything to do with like, it wasn't really more time as much as it was just more focus, because sometimes I would go to write and I would be thinking, wow, I hate this desk. What can I do to make this desk better? And then I'd start shopping for desks. Or like, it's so hot here. And I'd be like, oh my God, I'm sweating. Oh my God, it's awful here. And then I'd start looking up the temperatures of like everywhere else in the world. How is that productive? I'm not sure. In fact, I know it's not. But this is like kind of like how my mind would just go off on tangents. So that is something I'm going to have to figure out. But I have tried every word count tracker out there. There's a ton of different fancy word count trackers that you can pay for. So really quick, the phone app, the app is just called Progress, and you can track anything, right? Like weight loss, walking steps, whatever you feel like tracking. But it is just one tracker. It doesn't really show you any like history, like a graph or anything. And I did pay for that. They had like a lifetime deal. I think I bought this like 10 years. I don't even know. Whenever it came out, I bought it. Do I use it? I never use it. So here's the thing. It's on my phone. And so I have to like take out my phone to use it. And then I'm on my phone. And then you know what happens. I get like an alert. Oh, let me just check that one alert really quick. Oh, let me check my email really quick. Oh, let me check my text message. And then all of a sudden I'm not writing. And I only meant to just go into this app to update it. So that app is like hard no. I've deleted it from my phone. Yeah, I paid for it. It kind of sucks. I wish I could like just give it to somebody, but it goes with your phone number. Scrivener is like, it's here at the top right. It is too hard to set up. I don't even know, like, so that's my final word count in Scrivener when I finally finish my document. And you can't see any of the targets or the sessions or anything else because you have to like record a session and then have a session and then have a session goal. It was like the app required too much maintenance just to like update. It was like I was working for the app. Have you ever had things like that? Like, this is silly. The second one, this is a really old video. I think Bethany made this like 7 years ago. Pacemaker. Every author was so excited about Pacemaker. And honestly, when she was doing her video, I was like, this looks pretty great. It's a really good project management tool. It helps you like plan out revisions and edits and your marketing and the book release. Well, this thing was like a monster it was like a chore to set up. It like took hours. It was really, I shouldn't say really expensive. It was really expensive for like having to do so much work for it. And at the end of the day, I never updated it because I couldn't stand to go into it and then tinker around with it. And it wasn't pretty. It was really ugly and kind of like, it had like that technology. You know how you can go to a website and you're like, this was built in 1991 when the internet was first invented. And that's kind of how I felt when I was in Pacemaker. I'm like, this thing is like ancient. So I like totally nixed my Pacemaker membership and I never used it again. Readsy, and I've highlighted it because I feel like I love Readsy. So it is free. It has really good like visual that you can see over here, cues and reminders and check-ins and sessions. So yeah, it's a little work to kind of set up with the sessions like Scrivener, but they're much easier to do. And it's like visually more appealing than this like ugly Scrivener thing you see here. And so like the only problem with Readsy, because you can actually write in Readsy. It was like the first thing I ever used before I even bought Scrivener. It's free. The problem is when you pull it out and compile it, it puts a watermark. It puts the Readsy logo and a water. Now, I haven't used it since 2017. So it's possible it's changed and it's better. I don't know. But I've highlighted it because I am going to try to use that for the next book, for the one that I'm writing in December. Readsy never had a problem. It never lost my manuscript. That was my problem with Atticus, with Scrivener, with Ulysses, every single cloud-based writing app out there totally sucks at keeping your words, which I feel is like very important. And so I'd go, especially Atticus was absolutely the worst. I would go in there, the words wouldn't be there. I would take screenshots just to prove it, because every time I wrote to help, they were like, we don't know what you're talking about. There has never been a single issue or complaint ever to us except for you. And so I like took videos, I took screenshots, and they still were like, I don't know what's going on. I think it's you. So anyways, maybe it's me. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I know how to use all these other writing tools. So anyways, what was my point? I went off on a tangent. Reedsy is really good, just like Google Docs, at, keeping the words that you wrote without deleting them or forgetting them or going back to an earlier version or just like screwing it up. So I am going to try Reedsy again. Story Origin. Oh, I wish. So Story Origin is over here on the bottom left. I so wish that they would create a writing tool like Reedsy. So Story Origin is like the nano tracker. It's pretty. You can see like a pretty graph. It gives you overall stats, but it just only does word count tracker. Now it is free, so that's a positive, but I would really, really like it if there was a way to like write your book inside of there, kind of like Reedsy has. So I know Evan is amazing, but he's also a dad and a husband, so I think he's busy. So I don't know if that's really going to be something that he's going to create. All right, so let's review your 2024 wish list. So my wish list, remember I tried to cut it down, but basically the root cause, you're going to see no measurements. I'm just not measuring things. I'm like wishing and hoping and like thinking about it, but I'm not actually doing anything. So this was a total fail. I really didn't do anything. And I don't know if I did a couple things, but again, it's kind of like that when I think I worked a whole day, but I only worked 3 hours. I think that's the same thing. So to fix this, I think the solution is to use Six Sigma. So I was trained in Six Sigma back in the dark ages, like 1996, right when I first joined GE. Motorola had this amazing thing where they said, we only have 3.6 defects per million, right? Sounds great. We should all strive for that in like life or business or whatever we're putting out or widgets. And so GE had signed up and everyone had to get certified in Six Sigma. So it was a pain. You had to like go through all of these reviews and trainings, and like pretty much that was my whole first year at GE. The good thing though about Six Sigma is it's probably still like the best project management tool. They use this thing called DMAIC, which is first of all, you just design your project and you really say what's in scope and out of scope. You measure it. So you have to have some sort of stick to tell whether or not you're doing a great job or you're doing a poor job, right? Word count's pretty easy. So we'll do a writing example. And then you're going to analyze the who, what, when, where. So in a Six Sigma project, after you've designed it and measured like a baseline, you'd go back and you'd say, you know what, you don't have 3.6 million or 3.6 defects per million. You have like a million defects per million because you just suck, right? And then so the question is, why do you suck? And it could be because you have poor lighting, your computer doesn't have enough power, so it shuts off in the middle, you're using Atticus and it's losing all your words, right? Something like that. So how do you improve it, right? That's the next stage. And then you try to do a root cause analysis of why the numbers are low and fix each of those root causes. And then control just means, okay, so going forward, now that we've fixed you, how do we make sure that you stay on track? So if we do a small experiment, so let's say I want to write a book in a month. So BIAM, book in a month, is a super popular kind of theme. You'll see that there are books out there for it. There's courses out there for it. People say nano every month or whatever. Book in a month is just like my goal. And let's say I say that I'm going to write, for 6 months out of the year. So the other month I can either take a break or I can do some revisions or something else. So in scope for me is just books. Out of scope is everything else that goes along with writing. And I always fall into this trap whenever I have a writing coach. Remember I said the writing coach didn't help me write. And the reason they didn't help me write is because we would start talking about YouTube and websites and marketing and blogs and launches and release dates. And so that is important It's not like unimportant, but it wasn't helping me to actually get a book. And so if I don't have a book, which is step one, there's nothing to market. There's nothing like, why are you even blogging? So in joining different face groups is a huge distraction for me, mostly because I feel like there's just a lot of people whining. Like, I feel like some writers just join to whine, and I'm like, I just don't have time to listen to that. So anyways, that is my design. All of those things are out of scope. The only thing I care about is whether or not I have a book at the end. Measure it. So daily word count would be how I measure it. Analyze it. So that's why I was saying when I did that, I should do that Google like sheet of the numbers. I should have taken notes so I had some analysis like, oh, I wrote a lot of words today because, you know, the temperature was perfect, or, you know, I had a really great workout in the morning and it helped energize me for the day. I don't know. But I didn't really have that data so I could do the analysis. But if I did the who, what, when, where, and why, just based on anecdotal memory, I write best when it's just me. So like I said, I have I shouldn't say a lot. I have a few author friends and they give advice and they're always well-meaning, but they don't work for me. So if I only listen to my own advice and things that I like, then that works out best. 50,000 word novel is what I'm going for, and doing it in the AM seems to be much better than me trying to write at night. Doing it on my desk, the bed, the couch, it really doesn't matter as long as I'm at home. Whenever I go out to a coffee shop, and I know some writers like that, and sometimes it's fun just to change things up, I'm not as productive because I am always worried about logistics. What if I have to pee? And I want to go and I don't want to pack all my stuff up and take it to the bathroom with me. So that's the thing. Or, you know, I really should avoid sugars. And now I'm at the coffee shop and I'm just thinking about sugars all the time because everything in the display window, the croissants and everything else looks so delicious, right? So those are like distractors for me. And because of that, I just know like who, what, when, where. That is not a productive setting for me. And then why? So I really write to improve my skills because I don't think that I am a great writer at all. And I do think that I could be, like, I feel like I have the potential, but because I'm not writing, I'm not practicing, and I'm not getting better. It's just like anything. If you want to learn a foreign language, if you want to learn pickleball, right, you have to practice. And because I'm not writing, I'm not practicing. So my why is really to improve my skills. It's not to, and again, I might be picking on men. It's the masculine goal is I'm going to hit the New York Times bestseller and I'm going to be a millionaire and buy a Ferrari with my money. That is not my goal. And that is not something that motivates me, but just being better at writing so that I can write faster, so that I can come up with better concepts or dialogue or descriptions is something that I want to do. So anyways, that's my analysis. To improve it, like I mentioned, I think a root cause is I can't really see my word count progress on any of those other tools. So I am going to try Readsy. I like the feedback, the thumbs up, the thumbs down, the happy face. I did invest in AutoCrit and Pro Writing Aid. I'll talk about those in a minute. And I don't have, so developmental editors, I've always like tried to brag, oh, I never set a developmental editor calendar schedule. I don't need to. I just turn it in whenever I want. And that's because I'm lazy. I'm lazy and I don't want to commit to a date. So I need to improve that. So I am getting on developmental editor schedules on a certain date. And if I don't turn it in by that date, then I'm going to be out the money. So that's something I'm changing for this year too. And then Control is the Google Sheet. I'll still keep using that. The Readsy word tracker, we'll see how that works. And I do need a writing buddy, and not a writing buddy to write with, but for accountability, and not someone to talk about career or marketing or anything like that, because that is like out of scope and also just a distraction that doesn't help me to finish books. So the out of scope could be the most important thing for you. I know that was the most important thing for me, but as you go through this exercise for any goal that you have for the year, it should help you to just better define what maybe, I don't want to say your problem is, but what is the possible reason, if this has been something that you've wanted to do for a while, it has not been accomplished yet. So anyways, oh, Karen, I didn't even see your comment. Aw, got caught up in family responsibilities. It happens. That's life. All right. And that's why you have December and January and next year. Okay. So I've always hated this quote, a goal without a plan is just a wish, but it's kind of true because I have a wish list and my wish list hasn't really come true. And every month I'm like, oh, well, I didn't do it because of this reason or that reason. So I'm going to Six Sigma all of my wishes. So hopefully you'll do that too. So we'll change something in the workbook so we can all Six Sigma our wishes into actual project plans. So what else? Oh, just a prediction I have. I think a lot of people love templates and workbooks, and I think those are going to get replaced instead with ChatGPT prompts going forward. I've seen it happening already. So we'll talk about that. I have some good ChatGPT prompts for you that you can copy and paste. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it'll just be a Google Doc so you can just copy and paste it really easily and then put that into any AI tool that you like. It doesn't have to be ChatGPT. It could be Perplexity or Claude or any of the other ones, and then get the answer and that feedback, like I said, from somebody as if you had a friend right there with you. So there's another trend that I like. I don't know why. I'm just totally repulsed by this guy, Grant Cardone, the 10X business coach. I don't know. It's that masculine energy. There's a picture of him on a plane on the front, like sitting on the front of a plane. I don't even know like if they had to get a special ladder for him to get up there. He had to sign a waiver that he's like, okay, if he fell off this stupid plane. Anyways, he's basically trying to tell you if you make big goals that are so massive and huge, you too will own your own private jet that you can sit on the top of. So 10X this, 10X that, everyone is saying it. Like I heard Amy Porterfield saying it the other day. I don't know if like he didn't trademark this word or something, but it means go big or go home. It's that same like dude mentality where like you tell everybody you have a goal to lose 10 pounds. And then if you don't, you promise to pay all of them $100 or something for, I don't know, for whatever. So anyways, I just think it's silly. I would stay away from it if you see it. And if it like, I mean, I think it sounds hokey. If you really like it, that's awesome. But you'll note, I just feel like I've noticed that there's all these people trying to pretend like they're doing better in life because they're 10Xing themselves. They're 10Xing their goals and 10Xing their morning routine or whatever. Anyways, I guess I'm just complaining. So, Karen, I'm dedicating 2025 to writing. Awesome. I'm going to send you a private note, Karen, because there's something else about writing I was going to tell you too. Thank you so much for the prompts. Oh, good. Yeah. It is so much easier to copy and paste, right? I am a copy and paste person. All right. What else? My other creating wish list. Focus for November is really going to be 5 and 6. So honestly, I'm probably not going to create a lot of stuff other than the book. And then achieving, same thing. These actually, okay, so why did I fail? I don't think I like doing strength training every day. Honestly, so what I do is I run now in the mornings and then I walk in the afternoons, still 3 days a week with Molly. So I don't think I want to go to the gym a third time or extend my workout to do the strength training or the abs. The abs really aren't that hard. I could probably add them in pretty easily. So I am being kind of wimpy. I did abs this morning, so that was a win. I might need to just do, and I know this sounds crazy, I might need to do abs in bed, which sounds so lazy, but I think I'm laying there. I could just get them done then. And that would be something versus nothing. And I think it goes back to that principle of trying to make everything perfect and do it the best way possible. And I think because of that, I did, like, if you think about the whole year, I did no abs. And so if I had just done some lazy bed abs, I would have done bed abs probably 80% of the year. Versus now, last year, this whole year, I did abs maybe like 10 times total. So I think trying not to be perfect, that's why like I'm so disgusted by this 10X thing. Like I think going small is the answer, not going big. So like divided by 10 versus like multiplied by 10. So that's Karen. Go big or home. I'll head home then. Yeah, me too. I think I've told you guys all that story about when I went to what was that gym that you have CrossFit. I went to CrossFit and I remember the guy he had us jumping on these stacks and they were just too high and I didn't want to do it. And so I said, I don't want to do this jump. Like, first of all, this mat is like at my waist. How am I supposed to jump all the way to my waist? I'm probably going to fall and like die. And he's like, do you want to be a hard ASS or a fat ASS? And I was like, I will take door number 2. I'm out of here. And I left the class. So, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with it because I do see that it works for some people. I am just not one of them. You cannot like yell at me or shame me into like performing better. And again, I think it's just a personality thing because some people really like that. There was that one disturbing book I read on overeating, and the guy cured his overeating by calling himself awful names. And he's like, every time I thought about eating, I just called myself blah, 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 and then I stopped. So anyway, all right, moving on. You get my point. December word review. My December word is just review. So here's what I think has been missing from every single review that I always do. I'm always doing productivity and I think I'm mimicking other people that are always like, I'm going to simply think about how productive I can be. And then I'm going to wonder why I failed. And I'm going to beat myself up over this. Instead, what I want you to do is open up your 2024 calendar, like up to this date, like, because we're pretty much done with the year. And then go through, and I've never done this because it seems like such a work. So whether you have a paper planner or Google Calendar, go through every single week and look at like all the appointments that you scheduled or things that you had to do. And you're going to put everything into 3 categories. You're going to have a yes, like, oh my God, that was the best. I loved it. And this is a feeling. It's not like don't put it under the lens of how productive was that? Like, did I love it? Did I look forward to it? Would I want to repeat that again for 2025? And then you should have things that just like make you cringe inside. And you're like, oh no, I can't believe I ever did that. Thank God I survived that. Those are the no's. And then you have a list of, it's like red, yellow, green, like a stoplight of things where you were like, I planned it, but I skipped it. Did I skip it because, one, for me, the biggest one is I have anxiety. So was I just afraid to go, or did I really, truly not want to go? Like, I thought it was a good idea. I talked about it. I told everyone I was going to go. But when it came time to do it, I just wasn't interested. And I would rather just sit at home or do anything else than go on this trip or this, I don't know, meeting or outing that I thought I had planned. So if that is the case, we're going to go through that. I did that already. And we'll talk about, like, I guess my revelations and how it works for me. Tasha, CrossFit didn't work for me either. I was always the last person. I know they're so competitive. I'm not competitive either. I was like, I don't care if I'm last. But yeah, it's like, but then you're like, why do I feel bad about something I don't even care about? All right. So as you may or may not know, I love afternoon tea. I talk about it all the time. I love it. And I'm always jealous. I'm sure Karen's like, I don't go to afternoon tea every day, but I'm always like, oh, Karen is British. She's in England. I bet she's having afternoon tea right now. And so that's what I think of life in England and why I sometimes fantasize about moving to London. Anyways, every single brunch, dinner, it doesn't really matter. I just like eating out and food events with friends. So because we can chat, we can talk, we can hang out. No one has to worry about dishes or anything else. So I love doing that. When all of my college friends came for a little mini reunion, that was amazing. Running classes, walking and talking with Molly or anybody, and then HR, out of town visitors. I always love that. Doing these live streams. Obviously, I think we're at like 50 minutes. I just keep talking. And I know this is weird, but when I saw it in my schedule, dental cleanings, I was like, yay, I really like going to the dentist. I know it's kind of odd, but this is my yes list. So here's my no list. My no list is marketing. As you know, like I never market. I still haven't done any paid ads. I just can't stand like any gimmicky sales copy, like that language. Anyways, web design, I have been failing at trying to start a web design business forever because I really just don't like it. I dread it. Joint ventures. So having to do anything with anyone is also like a huge drain for me. So specifically the writing retreat that we did this year, was it this year? Yeah, it was this year. It was April that Molly and I did. And it wasn't even like I loved meeting people. I was so glad she came in town. But when I think about the actual prep work, it was awful. And when I think about, having to, that makes me sound like a baby. When I think about having to negotiate and compromise and do things, like it was good overall because she stopped me from making dumb decisions, but I didn't like the process of having to coordinate with somebody. So that's why, and maybe it's because I'm an only child. I really just like doing things alone in my way. So that's one thing. Interview prep. So I interviewed, I think it was like 25 or 26 different authors this year for my channel. And it was great because I think it helped them a lot. It also gave me the opportunity to meet other authors. But every time I had to do the prep work to like read their book, ask good, insightful questions, I was like in misery. Like I dreaded it. I hated it. So it's kind of like, I like the actual writing retreat, but I didn't like prepping for it. I liked actually talking to authors, but I didn't like prepping for those live streams. So those are things that I'm never going to do ever again. And I should, like, it was still like a good thing because one of the outcomes is I got my 6-book deal from Tool Publishing only because I did an author interview. So good things can still come from things you didn't enjoy, but now I know going forward for next year, I'm not going to do that. And then affiliate marketing. So I think there are 2 products ever, I think, that I've pushed, like other people. And one is, I can't remember her name. It was the Experience Product Masterclass, only because I did it and it worked out so well for me. But Marisa Murgatroyd, that's it. And I like her. I think she's transparent and honest. And, she's not like, I'm, as you know, anti-slime when it comes to sales things that feel like just too gimmicky and hokey. So I did like that. This year, when she asked me to do it, 1, I was moving, so I just said, I don't have time, I can't do it. And 2, I don't think I enjoy affiliate marketing. I don't think I enjoy pushing someone else's product, even if I believe in it. And so the other one is Rachel from Squarespace, our Square Stylist, and she's amazing. She is like whatever intelligence level I'm at, she's 10x. She is like way smarter. She's like a genius at coding. She can just figure everything out. So that's why I promoted Rachel too, because I just feel like if you're going to do web design and you really want to learn Squarespace, like this woman is the person you want to learn from. She's not only super intelligent, she doesn't do any of that slimy sales stuff, and her products are expensive, but they're totally worth it. Like after you buy them, you're like, oh, she really does understand everything going on with Squarespace. She totally gets it. She keeps up on everything. She puts out new, updates all the time. So for sure, that was like, those were good things for me to push out. But in general, like pushing that out and pulling all those things just really wasn't for me. And I think there was another woman I pushed out recently, Squarespace templates, only because I had thought about it. And honestly, I didn't even go through her class. But again, she just seemed kind of genuine and like nice. And really, I guess that's the way to be my friend or get me to like really believe in you, is someone who isn't like doing a hard sell. And so anyway, so I pushed her stuff out too, but same thing. I don't think I'm going to push out any more affiliate stuff next year at all. And not because I don't believe in things, just mostly because I just don't enjoy the whole affiliate marketing push. And I know some people like claim they make their entire living off of affiliate marketing. I don't know if that could really be true. I mean, maybe. Anyways, hosting responsibility. Hosting everyone for the retreat. So Molly did want to do a second retreat this year. And mostly because she was like, oh, you're going to be in Orlando. Obviously people love going to Disney World. And I was like, I don't know who likes going to Disney World. But she was like, oh, we could do one in Disney, which we totally could. But I personally don't like hosting. So my friend Jessie does. She has writing retreats, but she doesn't do all of that rigmarole like I do, like trying to teach classes, trying to schedule everything. She's like, hey, we're all getting together at this Airbnb. I will front the cost, and then you guys just send me money, and then we'll split it right? We're just going to split it evenly. And then when you get there, we'll all go shopping together at Costco or something. We'll buy some supplies for the week. We'll split the cost. And then it's every man for himself, right? But we all happen to be at the same house in case we want to interact or do things or have fun or whatever. So that was totally that would have been a better idea. Molly was not on board with that plan for switching the format. So we decided just not to do that. And also the other thing too was when I was with my college roommate, because it was basically the same thing. When I saw my college roommates and they all came into town, it was basically the same amount of time and events as the writing retreat. The only difference was I didn't have to host my college roommates, if that makes sense. It was like the writing retreat that I suggested where we all just got together, we all stayed in the same place, and we could just hang out organically and talk and chit chat. And that was magical. And that's why I wanted to change the writing retreat. So I don't teach you anything. I'm not trying to do a hard sell on how great this experience is. I'm just saying, hey, let's all just get together. And if you want to hang out, that sounds fun. And what we do is really up to the group as a whole. We'll just vote. So anyways, that I discovered about myself. And also for the Writers Coffee House. So the whole point, I shouldn't say the whole point, but one of the big wins for moving to San Diego is that Jonathan Mayberry hosts a Writers Coffee House every month at the Galaxy Bookstore. And he's very prolific. He's a bestseller and he talks at writing conferences all the time. And I thought, wow, I would love to be part of that group. And forever, I didn't go. And then finally, the very last month before I moved, I went to a Writers Coffee House. It was 3 hours and I was bored out of my mind. And so it was, and there was nothing wrong with it. He was the nicest person ever. And he was hosting with one of his friends and they were just going through industry news and what they had heard. And so the problem was I shouldn't say the problem. The thing is there was a big audience of people of all different levels, super beginner, I've never written anything, just thinking about it, and other people who were published and doing well. And the questions were all over the place. And there was a lot of, I don't want to say author whining, and maybe I have a really small tolerance for whining. It was just painful for me to sit through and listen. So that was something also on the schedule I didn't like. And then being sick, I don't know. Can I avoid being sick? I wish. But having the flu last year was not fun. I did get the flu shot this year. And part of it too, and I know this sounds silly, is I was afraid to get the flu shot because I was afraid of side effects. And I think it was just my anxiety. And same thing. So this year, my dad drove me. Yes, I'm 50 years old. My dad drove me to get the flu shot and to get my shingles shot, and everything was fine. So anyways, so that has helped since I've moved home. Okay, events where I planned it, but I didn't show up. These were things where I ghosted the event or whatever I had planned. And it's because I think it was just anxiety. I don't think I had any other reason not to go because I really wanted to go to these things. So the first one was SHRM had an HR conference and World at Work. And it was the weirdest thing ever. Last year, every single HR conference happened to be taking place in San Diego. And it happened the year before too. And they were right down the street. It wasn't even that far. It was maybe, I'm going to say 4 miles from my apartment. But for some reason, my anxiety level was so high, I couldn't go. I didn't want to go. And I think it's because I didn't know anyone. And I was afraid if I had a panic attack, I wouldn't have someone to lean on or whine to. I'm not sure what the issue is, but I was I'm just going to stay home where it's safe. Writing coaching calls. So same thing. And mostly, and not because my writing coaches, just to be clear, were amazing and wonderful and just very lovely. The problem is me. And the reason I dreaded them is because one, we would set up a writing goal and I wouldn't meet it. I didn't write for since 2021. And so they became something I dreaded because I had nothing good to report. And I think when I started talking about marketing and YouTube and books and launching and everything else, it was kind of to deflect my writing coach from the fact that I did nothing for this entire month, month to month for the writing calls. So I've gotten rid of, that's why I'm saying I don't need a coach. I just need an accountability buddy. And that's it. Just numbers, and we're out of there. The Flourish class, I was so excited and I signed up for this and I did not show up to any of the live sessions and I still have yet to do any of the work. So I don't know. So why did that happen? That I didn't even have to leave my house. I think I don't want to say lazy. I think I just don't want to learn it bad enough. So the learning curve is like from here to like here for like learning to be really good at flourishing on your own. Like I can flourish if I can see somebody else's example of like, say, the letter K, and I can mimic it. But to just sit there and have those like in your memory, I don't have them. I have the letters, the capital letters and the lowercase letters all in my memory. I do not have the flourishes in my memory. And I think I just didn't feel like memorizing and doing the work. So that was one. Neighborhood ice cream. So I signed up for this neighborhood. I was like, I can at least meet people locally and I love ice cream. I didn't go out either. And I think that's because I didn't know anyone. New content and products. Same thing. I have this like, I think the perfectionist like slipped in because I'm at home. I could just make stuff. And I just didn't. And then the writing we already talked about. So anyway, so what should you do next? Now that you have your yes, no, and maybe list, you should pick your top 3 in each one. Like use the 80-20 rule, top 3, whatever, and just try to do more of those for 2025. So like if I look at this, I definitely can like focus more on doing the things that make me happy and bring me joy. And I think honestly, the productivity will solve itself. Like the whole thing with not being productive, like just forcing yourself to work harder isn't going to fix the fact that you don't like doing the actual activity that is scheduled. So I think that would be more, and then you're stop doing like things you don't like, just stop doing them. Like don't like stress about them. I don't think it's realistic to stop marketing, even though I don't like it, but I do love YouTube. So I think I can just, obviously I haven't done any YouTube. I think putting out more content is the answer because I do like making tutorials and videos. And that could still be a solution for my stop doing list to get things going. So again, we went through all of the causes of this. So my habit for 2024 is stretching. And I've said that, like, I'm saying that lightly because I haven't done any stretching. So I might have to Six Sigma this thing too. Like, is stretching hard? It's not. Maybe instead of Six Sigma, maybe I just say, you know what, while I'm laying in bed doing abs, maybe I should just do some light stretching. Does it have to be a workout at the gym, like a planned session? Maybe I can just stretch while I'm laying there. And then it gets done every day of the year, possibly, versus never, because I have to schedule it like as an outing at the gym or an event. It has been. I'm so excited. I have gone the entire year now. Well, that's not true. Ever since I said I would start up back in April, I haven't had any caffeine. And it was really hard at first. And not that I even like caffeine, but I think everyone knows I love lattes. I even have the pen name Lisa Latte because I love lattes so much. But since then, it has saved a bunch of money and time, like time to go out and get lattes, time to drink the lattes, time to schedule latte outings. And in fact, I like lattes so much, I even had a photo shoot with my favorite latte. So something new I'm also trying is I gave up processed sugar. And it's only been a month and a half. So I did it to prepare for the flight. And because when you have panic attacks that are like, mine are very digestive in nature. Like I get nauseous. I feel like I'm going to throw up and like have bathroom. Like it is all that. I don't have the racing heart. I'm not at all worried about having a heart attack. I'm not at all worried about being like having a rapid heart rate or anything like that. So I don't get those feelings like everybody else was describing. And I think that's why it took me so long to realize that I was having anxiety panic attacks, because mine were all digestive and I just hadn't heard of a lot of people having that. But when I got here in November, I was like, I haven't had sugar for 2 weeks. It's really tough. I definitely miss it. But why don't I just try not to have any and see how it goes, right? And so it has felt, even though I'm like looking at it, it's only a month and a half, it's felt like forever because not only do I love writing about desserts, I think any cozy mystery that doesn't write about desserts and pastries is stupid. And I have them all the time, right? Like 2 blocks from my house, not even 1 block from my house, half a block is a latte shop with croissants. Another 3 blocks up is another place with croissants and cupcakes and brownie. Like everything I want is within a 1 mile radius. There's like 100 different places I could go to. And mostly I don't know if I told you this, I went to the donut shop, which is right around the corner from the gym. And you know how you rationalize with yourself. I was like, oh, I have had a really good workout. I deserve a donut. It's not going to hurt anything. So I went to the donut shop, and it was during Comic-Con, and there were a ton of people there. And I walked up to check out with my Bavarian cream donut, and she's like, oh, so many tourists. It's so nice to see a regular. And I was like mortified. I was like, oh, I'm a regular? It's like, I'm not a regular donut eater. I'm barely ever here, lady. And so it's kind of like that thing, because I wasn't tracking it. In your mind, you just think, I've worked a really hard day. But when I look at a tracker, I've only worked 3 hours. And I think it was the same thing with the donuts. I think I only have one like once in a blue moon, but clearly I have it so much that this part-time person working at the donut shop called me a regular. And so I was like, oh, that was like the first step where I was like, maybe I have a problem. So anyways, it has been a month and a half. I shouldn't say I haven't seen any, but I've seen the health benefits. I would say it's a little easier to control my appetite. And I'm not like hungry all the time like I was with the sugar, which I always thought like the whole glucose thing was just BS, but maybe it's not. I'm not sure. And again, it's only been a month and a half, and I'm hoping that it'll be like the caffeine, where after 6 or 7 months, my anxiety definitely went down. So I'm thinking with the processed sugar, maybe in 6 to 7 months, so maybe June or July of next year in the summer, especially because it's going to be really hot here, maybe that will have helped my anxiety. So to be confirmed, I will report back. Some things that I thought I would buy. The Drew Barrymore tea kettle. I actually hated it. I wanted a gooseneck, because when you have those big water kettles and you pour them, they like splash water everywhere. The Drew Barrymore kettle with the gooseneck pours like a nice pretty like stream of water, like when you see those guys doing those pour overs at the coffee shop. Anyways, the lid, you have to like pull it out and then push it back in. And so the lid is metal, right? Because it's trying to heat it up. And then the thing it's going to is metal. So every time I pushed it in, it was like nails on a chalkboard. It would like screech. And then when you pulled it off, it would screech again. I couldn't even I was like, I cannot do this every day, because, I drink tea every day. So, and also if you like this, if you don't mind the screeching, this was only $30 on Walmart. For some reason it was listed as, it was the exact same thing. It was $78 on Amazon. So I have switched instead to this portable tea kettle, which is way better. It's not only smaller, so it takes up less space on the counter. Like that other thing was like massive. This also is the perfect size for 1 cup of tea, because I was always overheating too much water. And then afterwards, when I wanted to get a second cup or do a refill, nobody needs to like reheat like the old water, or you could reheat the old water, but then like now you've heated it twice. I don't know. It just seemed very inefficient. This one is great. It like boils it in maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and it's done. You could use this. Now, I will say though, it has limited ability to really put anything. You push the button. Sometimes it turns on, sometimes it doesn't. There was no user manual. I somehow just keep pushing it until it finally works. So that's a little annoying, but it is only $27, and the top screws on and off, so you don't have to worry about anything like screeching like the other one. I've always wanted one of these. So the cat is like all in my business and on top of me. So I bought this because on the bed, there's no nightstand in my bedroom. And so at night I need to like charge my watch. I put my phone there. So I have this tiny little table, but the cat keeps jumping on it and pushing everything down because there's not enough room. Like it's really tiny. It's not enough room for the cat and all of my stuff. So I'm going to get this. It can roll forwards and backwards. I'll let you know how it is. I think it'll be magical. We'll see. It comes here next week. And that was like the lowest price. I was waiting because I was like, do I really want it? And then I was like, yeah, I really want it. And I was waiting to see if there was a Black Friday sale. There was not. And it wasn't any cheaper on Walmart. In fact, I think it was like the exact same price. So, this. So right now there's like nothing behind me. So the walls here, because it's Florida and there's hurricanes, the walls are all concrete, which obviously makes it more concrete safe or hurricane safe. But because of that, we had to hire someone to put these wood panels up because I can't drill into concrete, and it's just too much work for my dad to do. So anyways, I say this is a big regret because one, I do think these are beautiful. First of all, I would totally get these again. But the regret is that these were okay, I'm exaggerating. They were a little more than 10 cents, but they were so cheap on Temu. And they had tons of positive reviews and like hundreds of people were buying them. They look exactly the same and they were lighter and they would have been like, maybe $50 to fill up the wall instead of $1,000. And when you're talking about a YouTube video, you're not going to know. I guess if you were like selling this house or had it for something else, you could buy it. But I bought these from Wood Veneer Hub, WVH.com or whatever. And they were so they have like so many ads, so many people on YouTube talking about it. And so so they had a Black Friday sale. It was like 20% off. It was still $1,000 just to fill up one wall. And they are returnable. But because they're so massively huge, they're cost prohibitive. They're going to charge you like a restocking fee, and you have to package them up and send them back, and you couldn't have opened them. So, I am stuck with it. It is a regret that I have. Okay, so what did I buy for Black Friday? I bought Pro Writing Aid. You can still get both of these right now for 50% off. I think today, it's still Sunday, they're still going on. So here's why I bought Pro Writing Aid. So if you can see this screenshot, and I'll send you these slides afterwards, it does a really good job. Like Grammarly is so like old and outdated, whereas this gives you like a report. It doesn't actually do any AI where it like gives you a developmental report, but it's like you've used this word too much. Your sentence don't vary enough. You're using too many adverbs. You're using too many cliches, right? And so I really liked it just for like that quick and easy kind of, you can self-edit yourself. The other thing I bought was AutoCrit, and I'd been thinking about this for a while. So AutoCrit does use AI to give you an opinion on your book. I think that is perfectly fine. I know there's this whole like pitchforks and knives people that just hate AI, but it's actually very efficient. So again, I don't think this is any better or worse than getting an opinion from a developmental editor or somebody else. It's like at least a baseline to get you started, and it goes through all like the dialogue, the pacing, and it'll just give you like a score. Like the book right now so far it's saying it's an 84%, so I like have a B, right? And so the question is, how do I get it to, even for the computer thing it's saying, there's certain things that you can miss. There was one thing that AutoCrit did get, it was wrong, but I saw how the AI could be useful. So in one paragraph, Lucky and Sky are cats. And it said, oh, Lucky and Sky are siblings, like kitty siblings, because I talk about them like they're people. And then later on, I said, oh, I'm going to be giving Sky back to her owner, right, to Shelby. And it said, inconsistency plot error. You said that Sky and Lucky are siblings, but now you're Lucky's mom and Shelby is Lucky's mom. How is that possible? Right? So I thought that was a really good catch. And so that's, again, the reason I bought. I've been thinking about AutoCrit for a while, but it was kind of expensive. And then, like I said, I just didn't want another monthly fee. It is kind of expensive for the $350, but at least like I feel like I'd never have to pay for it again. And the fact that they're using AI tools does tell me that they're like trying to improve stuff. I think everything's going to have AI built into it by the time 2025 is over. Do not waste your money. I don't know if anyone's been seeing this. There's a lot of AI tools that are on sale. So everything you see on AppSumo, I wouldn't say it's garbage, but I wouldn't buy it. Mostly because these are what are called GUI wrappers. So GUI means graphical user interface. On the back end, it is still the same. It is still ChatGPT. It is Claude. It is Perplexity. It is the same ones that you can use right now for a flat $20. It's just that this puts it in a nice user interface. So I don't think that these are worth buying. Like 100%, just buy straight from the source, write your own prompts. Don't waste money on any of these like wrappers at all. So my schedule has changed like slightly, very little. I'm basically on the same schedule as my parents, mostly because it's a small house and it's all one floor. And like I've said before, when Ben and I, even though it was a big place, it had like 1,700 square feet, I could hear everything, right? Because it's basically like living in a studio. I don't know why studios are like that. That's why I've always liked having multiple floors. But anyways, 6:30 a.m. I wake up every day. I go to the gym. So nothing's really changed there. I shower, have breakfast, and then get some work done. I do have a lunch. So the nice thing is Molly and I used to walk at 10 a.m., which was almost the same time, 10 or 11 when I was in the West Coast. But now that it's switched to 2 p.m., so it's perfect because I'll have lunch and then I'll walk, which is like the most ideal, right? To have a meal and then walk. So that's what I'm doing. And then dinner is really early. It's like, I said 4:30, but sometimes it's like at 3:30. But that actually helps. I think I'm sleeping a little better because and I don't really eat late, but I think without having any food in me, like later at night, it's like helped a lot. And then I read and go to bed. I'm in bed by 9, which is pretty much what it was before. Okay, so anchor dates. I have some friends, hopefully, in town this month. They said they might come, Christmas, things like that, and travel. December deadlines, we're doing a digital declutter this Friday together. And then Tuesday, for Lisa Day, we're going to do an AI selfie update. And my stretch goal for the month is to finish book 5. So these two are scheduled, the declutter and the Lisa Day. And I do want to do a mid-month check-in. I've already talked it's like been 75 minutes. So clearly we should do a mid-month check-in so we don't have another like marathon 1.5 hour plan with me in January. Actually, probably January will be a big plan with me. But either way, let's try to do a mid-month check-in. I will let you know the exact time. I think the 15th is on a Sunday, so we could do it that Sunday like we're doing now, or we could do it on the 16th. I'll just see what my month is like. And the calendar. So if you didn't check yet, you all have access to a wall calendar. I'm really excited about this. I have not had a wall calendar for years. I had that really old one. It was Lindsay Letters, and she had a quarterly. It was like it was huge like this 36 by 24, but you had to buy the frame. It was like ungodly expensive. I don't even know. It was like $50, not 50, like I want to say $500. I don't know. It was something where you were just like, who would pay for that? Obviously I would, but you had to dry erase the dates in there. So like it didn't have the month so that you could just keep reusing it every month. You had to put the month, you had to put the numbers for the days. It was like painful to do. Or to set up. So I could not stand that thing. So I threw that away quite a long time ago. But I do like the thought of a At a Glance, and I just didn't like those like red and blue ones that At a Glance company makes. Plus this one, I could put my own dates in there and make it pretty in all my colors. And then I can see, again, my focus, just like Karen's, is books. So I have all of that in there. And yeah, I think it'll just help you see the year better, like a snapshot at a glance. All right, that is it. I know you're like, were you ever going to stop talking? I think I have updated you on everything that has happened. And possibly more that you didn't even want to know about. And I still didn't include everything I wanted to talk about. So I will see you this Tuesday for National Lisa Day, and we will talk about what's new in AI selfies. And I will see you again on Friday if you want to do a digital declutter. All right,